Good morning students, welcome to this science class. In the previous video we have studied about introduction of air, layers of the atmosphere, composition of air, atmospheric gases like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor, dust particles and other gases, and properties of air. Air occupies space, air has weight, air exerts pressure with an experiment. Today we have studied about wind. So students, what is wind? Wind means moving air is called a wind. Wind has enormous energy. You might have seen in a video or an image how wind are very strong. During storm we see that the wind blows hard and there is a lots of force in it. Second, fast moving wind can blow off the roof of houses or even uproot trees. If heavy wind is blow, they carry away the roof of houses or even trees because wind has enormous energy. You can see in the image students how the fast moving wind can blow off the roof of the houses. Next, strong wind also causes tidal waves. You can see in the second image, a strong wind also causes tidal waves. Fourth, while walking on a street, sometimes we feel wind pushing us. When we walking on a street, we can feel that a very strong wind pushes us. Fifth, clothes hang out to dry will flutter when the wind blows. When wind is blowing, the clothes which hang out to dry, they are start fluttering. Sixth, a vehicle cannot move if the air inside the tire come out. Suppose if the tire of the vehicle is punctured, it cannot move from one place to another place. Seventh, coconut trees swings in a strong wind. You can see in the image students how the coconut trees swings in a strong wind. Eighth, kite fly up in the sky. If we have played with the kite, before you can feel the wind lifting up the kite into the air. If heavy wind blowing, the roof of houses are carried away, or when heavy wind blowing, not only roof of the houses, otherwise the other things like trees, clothes, papers, even when we walking on the street, we also feel a wind pushes us because wind has large amount of energy and it has a force. This shows that wind has a force and energy. Next is wind has force. How can we use this? As wind pushes a sailboat and it moves. A strong wind pushes a sailboat because it has a force. You can see in the image, first image student, how a wind pushes a sailboat and it moves easily. Next, wind helps the farmer separate the grains from the chaff. Wind helps the farmer to separate the grains from the chaff. You can see in the image student how a farmer, a lady farmer, they standing in the direction of the air and separated the grains from the chaff. Third, wind helps the windmill to work. The windmill helps to generate electricity. Wind helps the windmill to work means with the help of wind, the windmills start rotating and it helps to generate electricity because wind has a force and it has a speed. Fourth, the cool wind in the evening makes us feel less hot. Fifth, the wind helps the kite to fly and balloons rise high up in the air. The kite fly with the help of wind in the direction of the wind, and with the help of wind balloons also rise up. So we can say that wind has enormous energy, and wind has a force, and wind has a direction, or wind has a speed. Wind is useful to us. So we can say that wind has a force, wind has a direction, and wind has a speed. Wind is useful to us. Next is air pollution. So let us study about air pollution. So students, what is air pollution? Air pollution is one of the greatest and dangerous environmental pollution all over the world. Air pollution is the contamination of air caused due to smoke and harmful gases, or a toxic means poisonous gases which are released by factories. The gases and the particles, small particles, smoke or a dust particles, smoke that comes out from cars, automobiles, factories, industries, and they enters into the atmosphere or air, and it becomes polluted, or it is also known as air pollution. Air pollution, an increase in any of the constituents of the atmosphere which is harmful to the living organism and their environment, is known as air pollution. For example, how air is polluted? By dust, mixing chemicals, smoke which is released by factories, automobiles, and crackers. You can see in the images shown here what happens here, student. Air is polluted. How it is polluted? It is polluted by mixing with chemicals. You can see in the images, students, how the factories releases the harmful gases which are released in factories, industries, automobiles. You can see in the third image how the car releasing harmful gases, automobiles, and by dust. These harmful gases and chemicals releases and mixed into the air, and it is very dirty and full of smoke. It releasing into the air, and air get polluted, and it is harmful for all living organism in the environment. Next is causes of air pollution. What are the causes and what are the effects of air pollution, students? Now we have studied one by one. Listen. First, if industries and factories releases harmful gases in the atmosphere. If factories, industries releases harmful chemicals and they mixed into the air, it is dirty and full of smoke and releasing into the air, and it causes air pollution. Next is by cutting off the trees. If we destroyed forest or cut the trees, by the use of more and more transport vehicles, if we use more and more automobiles, they also release smoke that is also harmful for living organisms. Next, by smoking cigarette and chewing tobacco, by the release of carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide due to the release of thermal power station. Next, due to the release of waste and burning them. If we burn waste materials or garbage, they also releases carbon dioxide, or burning of crackers, tires, all these they releasing harmful gases after burning. You can see in the image, students, how the waste materials or a garbage is burning. Next is, it causes serious health diseases like health issues like heart disease, cancer, breathing problems, asthma and skin diseases, etc. Eighth, if it has a negative impact on the growth of plants and their yields, because plants also living organism. Next one, some animal races may get extinct since all organisms need air. It is necessary to prevent air pollution. All living organisms, they need fresh air to breathe. Next is prevention of air pollution. First, what are the preventions? How to control air pollution? So listen, students. Avoiding the cutting of trees. Second, shifting of industries and factories away from the cities and towns. Means we shift the industries and factories out of the cities and towns. Electrostatic precipitors should be used in industries and factories. Use smokeless chula. Next, use efficient engine in automobiles. And next is using gaseous fuel like compressed natural gas, means CNG, instead of coal and petrol, because they releasing lots of carbon dioxide. So you should use gaseous fuel. Next, by using alternative energy sources like solar energy, hydroelectric power and wind power. Why? These energies are clean and they do not release any harmful gases or smoke. Next, using public transport. Instead of all taking individual vehicles, or use cycles, move from one place to another place. Next, preventing the mixing up of chemicals, waste discharged by factories with air. Before the factories releases the chemicals, waste, we need to filter so to make less pollution. Next, installing tall chimneys in factories so that the smoke can be released at a higher altitude. If they need to install tall chimneys in a factories so that smoke can release in a higher altitude. Next, designing emission control system. Next is avoiding burning of substances near civilian area such as garbage, waste or tires. If we burn, they release lots of harmful gases. So what we do students, if near your areas you need to avoid burning of garbage. Uses of air. Air transmits sound, hence helps in communication, and sound cannot travel in the absence of air. Air also helps glider, sailboats and aeroplanes to move. You can see in the image, students, how the glider and sailboats move with the help of air. Compressed air is filled in tubes, tires and balloons. We use air in tubes, tires and balloons. Moving air helps to evaporate and pollination. Next is, wind is used for the process of winnowing, that is used to separate husk and grains. Air is used in the process of winnowing, that is used to separate chaff and grain. Windmill use air to generate electricity and to draw water from the tube wells. Air helps in seeds dispersal and pollination. You can see in the image, students, how seeds are dispersal and pollination. Air also play an important role in a water cycle. So we can say that, we can understand that is air is very important natural resources that we need in our daily life. So that lesson is completed, students. So in next video we have study about in this lessons question answers. So thank you, students.